Yeah, hi. Once again, welcome to this week's podcast. This is the audio version of my newsletter, which is sridhargaripati.substack.com. So you can see it in my show notes as well, but just for the reference. So we are going to talk about multiple topics, and some of these topics actually the reason I picked up is because of multiple topics which I have read during this week. So let's get started. So first thing is actually mostly especially in the United States, at least at the one side of the US, it's currently on the fire. People are actually dying. Air quality in surrounding areas is reaching record lows. And all of this is happening while we are still going through global pandemic COVID-19, and especially in US, people are also dealing with the systematic racism. So too many things are going on, and this week, especially because summer is going to end, I actually picked up my Fitbit and I didn't use Fitbit for entire summer because this summer mostly I go out. So when I picked it, the very first few posts, at least I looked at to my Fitbit community was because of these fires and the air quality in the surrounding areas is reaching almost like 350 in such record levels. People are not even able to come out, and it's not even safe for them to breathe outside air that much. So people have to stay and work out at home. And this pandemic actually, and especially during the winter season, as we get into the winter, we need to care about a lot of habits, right? Because we'll be staying at home. That's the reason this week I'm going to touch about self-care topic again, which you have seen the previous post as well. So this week is a little bit about the last week's post and current this week my reading, which excited me to share with every one of my readers. And we'll talk about self-care because it's very important as you enter into the summer, so enter into the winter. So, all right, get started. So, very first thing is about last week post on career. First of all, thanks for the responses over the last week article or career. I have been sharing this over Facebook only for friends, but also I use hashtags so that Facebook people through those hashtags also can see it. And I use Twitter, so Twitter is like anyone. You guys can see it. My handle is at the rate Swami Sri1. It is SWAMYSRI1. So I mentioned it in my show notes as well. And also on the Instagram, also I posted. Although on Instagram, I have been posting few additional quotes or uh, lines from the same post the last week, but I actually mentioned little more or additional thoughts about those posts. So you can have a look at it, but as it's a private or at least I decided to post it as in a public from this week onwards, as a few of my readers are not there on the particular platform. I'm posting those additional quotes from the last week in this week's podcast show notes and also in the article. Right. So So during my write-up process, I mentioned few regrets of men and women not starting their career once they are late by say 10 years or 15 years, right? Okay, they are very scared to get into the career mode as they think they didn't have any work skills. So I touched only a little in my article, but felt circumstances are same as career relaunchers who move from one industry to another because they have to learn all the skills from the scratch. So basically, same template can be used by late career folks. What amazed me while hearing my own podcast other days, why do they even have this as regret, especially women? Because I have never seen a woman in my life who doesn't work. It's just that not all are paid. So I need to ponder on this more and I want to document my thoughts at least for my personal write up. So if I ever get into such conversation, I want to have a script ready to pump some motivation into the people who actually scare about starting their career so late. So we all know. See, the reason why I mentioned about this line is because every woman in the world actually works, right? So not everyone is paid. Take an example. So, so being mother is the most hardest job, and more often it is most thankless job as well. So I have seen my mom and now my wife as mother. Clearly, it is visible that it's challenging grind day by day. So this confidence should never go away because if they are really scared to get into the career after 10 years of taking the career break, but they should not feel as not having the skills because being a mother, being a homemaker is itself is one of the most hardest job. So that confidence which actually enable you to challenge your day to day to perform well as a mother or well as a homemaker, that confidence should never go away. So another topic which I touched was conversation of the aging needs to take place, especially this week. I got some resume and I seen one of the recruitment person response. So it made me think about my own topic about the career, especially conversation about aging needs to take place as it's impacting late career folks for building career. So when we talk about people who are taking career breaks for 10 to 15 years and trying to come back into the career, so it means they are no longer the same 21 years person. They are 35, they might be in 45, so their age is way different. So person applying, so that senior person who is applying for a lower skill set within a higher age is been discriminated as not having a hands-on experience even before the interview happens. So just with first look at the resume, the bias is there. So and it exists very much in a workplace. I have seen it personally as well. So this is one more topic that needs to be discussed and how our generation can learn about it and remove these biases from workplace. The reason why I'm calling my generation especially because right now we are at the age of 34, myself at least, and my generation, my own colleagues, my own friends. So all our entire generation are right now are turning into project managers, into the leaders. So we are at that particular age right now where we are no longer as in we no longer are a fresher, we no longer are mid experienced resource. So we have more than a decade of work experience. So now my generation is getting into such positions especially where they can actually impact their team. So it's very important that my generation needs to learn about, and especially like bias is something I do recommend that everyone has a bias. I'm not just talking about racism. So there might be any different types of bias. So if like take an example like so there I'll take an example like there are like confirmation bias, there's a cognitive bias, and there's something which is dangerous is unconscious bias because you even don't know that it exists. You literally doesn't show racism on the people, but the unconscious bias actually make you make certain decisions. So especially stereotypes, sexism, discrimination, right? So unconscious bias is too dangerous, and it is something which everyone has to read and learn about it. So I would definitely recommend taking some LinkedIn online courses or any portal which you guys use for learning. Learn about unconscious bias or any other bias, especially for ageism as well. There's a bias is over there. So we need to learn about this bias and how to eradicate from the workplace. Okay. So there is enough material already written on it, but still it is not being addressed. So it is like, take an example, we are waiting for COVID-19 vaccine, but at the same time we need to have a strategy ahead in place, right? So once vaccine is available, we can actually execute our plan to make sure every person on this world gets it. So just like this, we would need more eyes, thoughts, conversations on these to happen, and broadcast the message so strongly to eradicate any biases impacting the work culture. So as I promised, I will come back with my viewpoint for sure on individual topic. As last post, I have talked about multiple topics like career break, career relaunchers, right? Uh, so the reason why we talked about multiple topics because all of those are actually interrelated, right? But each one has its own unique importance, and a template have to be there in order uh, to execute in those phases of our career. So definitely, I will come back. And that's enough about the last week's. You have, on the show notes, you can look into the last week's link if you haven't read it. There is an podcast version on the website as well. I'll mention it on the in my show notes. If not, uh, if you're on Apple Podcast, then definitely look for my show Minimalist Techie. You can hear the audio version over there as well. Right? So come back this week. So it's a pretty busy week for due to work for me, but somehow I was reading some other articles and I I got referred by a different article and I got to know about an author called Seneca the Young. So Seneca essays. So I read one of his essays on the shortness of life. So wonderful book. So I had an audio version first, so don't I'll let you know how much I liked it. So I heard an audio version and it went so then I was like struggling to take notes because every chapter was having so much of information. Even the author was arguing that we are wasting time, effort, but at the same time, he was teaching what it meant to live a purposeful life. So I came back again. Now I'm going through the same topic on the shortness of life, same essays. I'm reading right now the ebook. It's just like it made me read it again in the same week, once through the audiobook and once through the text form. Apart from the article which made me to search for this author, I'm definitely going to recommend this author to anyone who is interested in reading. So basically, let's see. So couple of keynotes what I read. I will talk about those. Like live a life throughout. What is the point of living a life once you reach 60 years post retirement? Right? Most of us struggle and try to make our career and some money. See, this is all important, but many people take it way too serious, and in order to get that financial independence, take some wrong routes, I would say, or over the career as well. People becoming bad bosses, people blame each other, trying to get to the higher positions. So it doesn't matter, but you have to live a proper, intentional, and purposeful life. So towards the point of struggling all the way till 60 years and or whatever your retirement age would be, because there is no guarantee of living a life post retirement. Only very few years people can live. Uh, Only few can live till 100, right? So a life can end at any point of time, even with so much of care. So you will know this if at least I have my own experience when, when in my own life when you lose some people at the age of 60s and early 70s, then that makes you realize that life is pretty short. So So, so we never know when we will die. Say if at all we are actually struggling all the way till 60 years spending ridiculous time not living a purposeful life, and say if we end up dying at 67, say you got retired, and in those 7 years you're not thinking about anything, you're just thinking about yourself. You might be having a good time, or you might be still living the same life, clinging to the past, right? So it is just your 7 years of living the life. So what's the point of spending so many number of years, 30 to 40 years of work, then rest 7 years, which you can't even imagine how you are going to spend it. So even you end up living that 7 years of life well, what's the point of struggling for 30 to 40 years, right? So read one old essays based upon his essays, basically like when he's talking about one particular war person for not taking any holiday, he has been at war throughout his life, asked to look back and recall memories. So for that particular person, the military person, it was just all war and deaths. And throughout his career, he was almost like, uh, okay, one certain territory, then move on to another territory. So he's losing men or his army, but that's all. That's all he cared about. So when he looked back at his old age, there is nothing for him to recall apart from those war and those insaneful deaths. And another key point which really touched me was he talked about like, especially like at my age, or not my age, I would say, especially like you hear a lot of advice from the elder people, right? Bad advice, good advice, and people behave in a shit ways during even in their old age as well. You still see a narcissist type of people even at that old age of 60, 70 as well, trying to torture their uh, own people around. So one key thing which he talked about is a person turning old. Do we measure how long one existed on this earth or how long one lived? So there's a lot of difference. So a person living a life or a person just being existed on this earth, right? So these were actually written around year 49 AD, and I got this author by reference. Mostly he argued we waste so much time and spend effort in making money and planning for future rather than living the current life. Although it was written way back, but it is still resonates to current day situation. Right? Most of the examples, because they have the essays written to some other general, and it is a stoic lifestyle basically from a Roman author. So, uh, but past has occurred already. We can, from his point, past has occurred already. We definitely remember the past, but only learn some lessons from it. But there is no need to hang around it. Right? It's like there is no need to simply say, okay, I did certain things at my age 10 years ago. What about right now? What are currently you are doing, right? Are you living this purposeful life? Or so it's very important to look back into the past, but only take some good lessons out of it. There is no need to hang around it for the rest of the life. Future is something which we cannot expect. So instead of being exist and doing redundant things, the author argues to live a intentional life throughout the living. Right? So at least like this year, if you ask me, I have been writing a lot since more than a decade. They were sitting in my personal uh, folder, and so the writing is something which actually gives me an enjoyment, and I really like, and it also improves my own knowledge as well. Because do you think like I'm reading right now Seneca essays, right? So yeah, I have to spend an effort on it, right? It's not like even I have to do my own research. I need to take some notes, and I enjoy that entire journey of taking the notes. So that that process I enjoy literally in the writing. So definitely I want to do certain things which really interested me a lot. Another thing is, especially like I've seen one of in my apartment, a youngster, like not I would say teenager. Uh, People are like she is like posting a number of videos, and for that videos the way she is behaving, for their Instagram videos actually. So first thing is I want to say to adult, get yourself right, be alert yourself, do mind what you're posting on the social media, especially on the Instagram or the way kids call it as Insta. They are influenced by so-called advertisements, or there are people posting in certain awkward or bad things. I would simply say bad, and you can define what is bad, which is going to influence a teenager, right? So do mind what as an adult we post on the web, right? And writing is my one of the way, because I want to share what I feel is good for the society, or what I feel good for myself. First of all, what interests me, because I write for myself first of all. So I learn, I read books or take notes, I do these writings, I do all of these things for myself, but at the same time I'm sharing this information out in the world, because if even one person, uh, it benefits, even for one person it benefits. mm, uh, it's like that is my purpose of sending some good information out there. So at least, yeah, this is that incident happened. I was looking into the teenager kid, so and realized that. So one quick advice is, at least the way I use is social media. I simply post my blogs over there and don't connect for over a week. Or sometimes even I connect. I own, like, take an example of Instagram. I only look into my personal feed, like my own friends. That's all. I don't go to the other tab and don't see entire bullshit what's going on. Right? Okay. So maybe you can do that if you still want, to be connected to certain platforms. So try to limit your platform usage. Okay. Coming back, that's sorry. Okay, the reason why I was giving this example is, it's this book made me think about multiple aspects of life. So that's the reason I was uh, come back again. So in his, so basically, quick, like a high level one quick note from the book was, neither past nor future, time is best used by living in the present moment in the pursuit of intentional and a purposeful life. That's the key takeaway for me from the book. And if you ask me, especially from the author, why I'm interested in this author at least for next couple of weeks, is the the way he has explained certain things. So give me one more. Let me give one more quote from the book. Like Seneca says, life is long enough, and it has been given in sufficiently generous measure to allow the accomplishment of very greatest things. If the whole life it is well invested. So what he's saying is, life is long enough, if at all you know how to use the time, how well you invest your time. But when it is wasted in luxury and carelessness, when it is devoted to no good end, forced at last by the ultimate necessity, we perceive that it has passed away before we were aware that it was passing. So it's talking about time. So we think we can control time, but time simply passes by. So it's very important that how well you can utilize the time. If you're just going to do time pass, do redundant things, not spending your time purposefully, then you never know, but you'll be hitting 60, 70, and when you look back, the time, you're not even aware of the time being passed by. So the importance of time, especially, is what I liked about from this book. So on the show notes, I'm going to mention Seneca, the author, his Wikipedia page, and the audio version of the this particular essay on the shortness of life. I'll share the audible version link. And if you want to read the ebook, right now I'm reading this book from my library. But also I found one good open source link. I'm sharing that link so that anyone with an internet access can launch the link and read the literature. Definitely, I'm going to spend some time for sure next few weeks on Seneca essays. and will share my notes. What are the topics if I really liked it, and I feel we have to share those older literatures, then definitely I'm going to include them in my future newsletters. Right? Okay, that's about the book. Mostly I have read twice at least. I was once through audiobook. I would through then second time I'm reading it again through an ebook because I really liked it. So I thought of sharing with everyone this week. All right. So beginning of the podcast, we talked about multiple things happening, especially in US and also around the world, right? COVID-19 situation, and and because in the US right now, because of the fires are happening in other side of the world in I mean east coast on the west coast, and especially the weather is also getting changed, right? So I wanted to talk about self care again this week, and so summer is officially done for the year 2020 in United States. So as we move into fall, so and then winter, so the temperatures are already getting changed. It's already in 20 degrees Celsius, 21, and night it's going till 15, 16 Celsius. So yeah, I don't read temperatures in Fahrenheit, so sorry with that. So and also this summer and the entire year 2020 was very different for everyone, right? Due to the COVID-19 situation around the world. So I picked up a book by Dr. Jennifer Aston on self-care solution to give a quick read this week. See, although I have added many habits in my own lifestyle in the last decade, I wanted to remind myself of my own habits and also see the doctor take on self-care. See, as it is supported by science strongly, it is easier to add few additional things to my own schedule or recommend to my readers confidently as I'm not a doctor by profession. So for science part, you can pick the below highlights from my article, which I'll mention in my show notes, or else you can simply uh, pick up that particular topic and do a Google search or give a read. Okay, so not actually I would simply I'll say actually entire book or entire that list. Uh, there are 12 challenges the author takes every month a challenge, and basically you can write in a blog. Uh, but the book is divided into multiple three phases actually for every month challenge. So the author story, first of all, why selecting the particular challenge and how the author is going through the particular challenge. Second is basically the science side of that particular challenge, right? What is the science is saying about that particular challenge, and the third one is sharing our story, the reader's story, how to stick to your schedule. So definitely, the what I liked it was the second part where the science side of it. We are most of it I am already aware of it, but I was very interested to know the doctor side of it. The reason why I liked it is uh, the doctor has literally mentioned it in bullet points. So it's not like a lengthy 300 or 800 pages book. It's a small book. It's going to be quick read in a day or two if you do 4 hours of reading per day. So it is mentioned in the bullet points. So every scientific, if she's talking about back pain, why certain exercise and the benefit of it, right? So it's like just mentioned in quick bullet points. So you can see quick highlights throughout the book. That's what I liked about it. But if you ask me, am I recommending this book to buy? No, I would say no because I said the list is something which is already known to many of us. It's just that author's journey to us. So if you can get a library book, you can get it. If not, uh, the author's page itself has those 12 on our web page. So you know those items. So you can pick those items and start your self care. If not, you get a library book, then give a read. But if you say I have to spend some dollars, no, I would not, at least for this book. Uh, but I said, right, why? Uh, so the reason for mentioning this book and notes in this week newsletter is because See, I also wanted to have a documented list to remind myself. See, I have my own sketch notes, which I have written previously. Self care. I have done my sketch note over self care. It is there. I have printout and also on my phone. Uh, the particular sketch note is in my favorite images, so I can quickly access it as a reminder. Uh, and also, self care is already part of my lifestyle. So, and also, I use Microsoft To Do app to remind myself. Yes, it is easier to skip sometimes. So, I added few things as a task, so I never miss any new habits until they become a routine. So, take an example, like a plant-based diet, sleep, cold showers in the morning, or few push-ups in the morning. These are already part of my routine. But meditation is something I have done a lot in 2015. And later on, whenever I feel that I require some calmness starting of my day, I will again do it. But it's not, it's fallen out of my schedule, in my morning schedule. So the reason, so making this list and the book actually helped me to see the science side of it as well. So why these habits are must. Also, the main reason to look right now was as weather will get cold. First, we'll have fall for the next 1 month or so. Then temperatures are going to get cold, especially in the northeast of United States. Most of us will be at home, and due to COVID-19 situation, people have limited outside activities already, right? And normally, winter, my favorite activity is uh, mall walking. Yes, I am that guy who simply walks around the mall, don't buy a single thing. I do this a lot during the winters. I'm not like a window shopper because that actually slows me down. I literally do a full speed walking in the mall from one end to another end. Right? It's a temperature controlled environment. Uh, so during the winter, that's the place where I take my long walks. But due to the COVID situations, we'll be at home. So this year winter for sure it's going to be different because there is no mall walking as well. There is we'll be sitting more at home and we cannot do even on our outside of our own backyard as well. We cannot spend a half an hour because I'll easily catch cold. So this year winter for sure is going to be different. So I want to remind myself of the self-care habits what I already have on schedule and read this book so that if I find any new ritual, then I want to get it added to my schedule of self-care. So let's quickly get into the individual challenges, which you can see it in the show notes as well. So dry month, so no alcohol. I skipped this chapter. I do not need it in my list as I have read enough during my college days or career beginning. Or I have seen it abused in person as well with someone else. So as it's never part of me, so I don't need this in my list to remind, but it's just that it was part of the book. So just adding it here from a book highlights perspective, so you can see all the 12 challenges in my blog post. And if anyone want to check it out, and all, if there's someone is suffering from the alcohol, then see the science side of it, why you should stop consuming for your own better health. Right? I have skipped it, so I cannot vouch for what is in that chapter. Uh, but definitely, you can if anyone needs uh, the need for stopping, then please give a read so you can see the science side of it. So push-ups and planks daily. Yeah, I do push-ups every day in the morning, and but yeah, I picked up planks from this list. I'm going to do it, and already since I from this week already I'm completed 6 weeks of my planks. Right now I'm doing. I started with 55 seconds. Right now I'm at 1 minute 33 something I guess today. So that's my plans. I'm going to push a lot so that see that I can hit my 2 minutes or 3 minutes as I guess it's too much 3 minutes, but let's see I can hit 2 minutes in next 1 month. And meditation daily. I wanted to add meditation again back to my life. And yeah, if you want to know what type of meditation I do, don't remember the name. I read it from some baseball author. He has written some good meditation book. There are multiple ways of doing meditation. Like especially for myself, I easily get distracted. Many thoughts will come. So there is a way. So I'm not sure what the name is, but simply close your eyes. Try to chant a word, right? Like I do Om. Sometimes I do Shiva, my favorite god, uh, as a person. So I like that entire personality and that entire mythology of Shiva, which I have read lot. may- Not know how many times I have read Shiva mythology. So I pick up your word and try to close your eyes and try to go over that word in your mind and say if any distractions are coming, anything, any other thoughts are coming to your mind, let them come, give it some time, let them go away, again come back to your chanting. Right? So you don't have to 20 minutes, you don't have to exactly uh, make your mind. As long as you're sitting in a calm position, even you're getting distracted, you can come back again. Fourth one is exercising. So definitely exercise. You can do any type of exercising, biking, swimming, running. So whatever your mode of style of exercising, do something especially that you can sweat for 20 minutes. So important note from that particular exercising is you have to sweat for 20 minutes daily. Fifth one is plant-based diet, already part of my schedule. Salmon, yes, I have been vegetarian since last 4 years, I guess, right now. And I have added salmon since last 1 year because I have read it benefits. So I do plant-based diet and salmon from the seafood. For sure, no red meat from the science side as well. And if at all you are still a meat lover, maybe eat meat in moderate, maybe weekly once or twice. Okay. Stay hydrated, especially drink water. Say no to soft drinks, sport drinks, juice waters because they are very high in sugar. So use a reminder app on your phone if needed. Log water to make sure every day you're drinking. For women, I guess 2.9 some liters, and men 3.8 some liters, I guess. Yeah, people will say like you should eat 6 to 7, but they are for athletes, not for regular non-athletic people. The science side of it, actually, I liked it about the hydration. Like eating poorly, being overweight, exposed to pollution increases the risk of heart disease. One more common cause is dehydration. So, dehydration also causes a risk of heart disease. My dad actually suffered from heart disease. So, this actually this week even I noticed that I need to take this water challenge. Normally, I drink good amount of water, especially I'm in office for some reason because I want to get out of my desk, go downstairs, take stairs, then fill up my water bottle and come back. Even at home, but sometimes I see that at home I drink less water. Don't know why. So I started measuring through my Fitbit app. I started logging how much water I'm drinking. So I noticed that after 4 days, I was drinking 3.1 or 3 liters per day, whereas recommended for my men is 3.8 liters. So I realized that yes, I'm not drinking enough, and I want to push myself so that little bit and remind myself. That's the reason I started logging. So this is also one more challenge which I have added, and so that I want to come back on my drink on my track because right now last 5 months I'm working from home and I want to make sure I'm in office. Definitely I drink more than four, near to 4 or 4.5 as well. I remember for sure. But at home, I guess I noticed that I'm drinking a little bit less. So I added this as my as a task so that I can maintain hydration level well, because we are going to be at home, and in winter we are going to run heating system at home. It's very important to stay hydrated. Seventh one is move your mind. So it's like move your body so to move your mind. So how many the more you will move, the more active you will be as a person. So as per American standards, at least I do 10,000 steps per day, which is approximately 5 miles of walking. In summer, I don't need my steps to be tracked, because I easily take on average 12,000 steps per day in summer, because I go out multiple times. I go for hikings, parks. Even during COVID time, I walk around my parking lot a lot with my son. But as getting to the winter, I charged my Fitbit again. Took it out of my bag today. Uh, I had to search for a charger for 10 minutes. Don't know where I kept it, but I finally found it. So I started charging my Fitbit again to track the daily movements. Fall is started. We'll be at home more by next month. So I want to make sure at home I'm touching that 10,000 steps per day. Eighth one is mindful tech, and which is author recommending to you uh, make a good decision about how what is your intake of technology in your lifestyle, right? See, for myself, I cannot avoid my Kindle, because I like to read a lot, and Kindle is most easiest way for me to read multiple books, carry a small device everywhere in the home, uh, rather than a textbooks, right? And books requires to visit a library to learn. So right now, as we are sitting at home, Kindle is much more favored, because you can simply get the book uh, through your email, and you can log into your device and start reading. So yeah, I read a lot, so that's the reason I cannot avoid my Kindle. And for sure laptop, because I'm an IT employee. So I do work during the work week. I work 9 to 5, so I cannot avoid the laptop screen. And also I do some writing for my blogs. So this is something which I cannot avoid, but rest I'm actually good at it already. But it still reminded me the facts I read 3 years ago, which made me to remove all the apps from my phone and go offline on many social media sites. So you might have seen I was away from Facebook for 2 years, Instagram for 2 years. So you're seeing me now again on social media only for my blog post. So I'm still away from tech, majorly because I have removed Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, those type of apps from my phone. I now just log in through my laptop when I needed to promote my blog, uh, which hardly takes 5 minutes to post. So I do weekly once. I check here and there, maybe 5 minutes per day, especially on laptop, to see if any responses, any readers are replying. So just to reply them. So do not mind if at all I'm not posting, if I'm not following the other posts, I'm not liking, or I'm not seeing entire my news feed, because I have limited that entire usage. Mindful tech is eighth one. Ninth one is less sugar. I skipped this chapter because yes, don't know. I start more than a decade at least in my kitchen. I don't have sugar. I never buy a sugar packet. Only maybe after marriage, my wife to make some cakes, or so she started buying some sugar. But at my home, we literally eat very less sugar. Me and my wife are petite. We are hardly 55 kgs. So she's 50, I'm 55 kgs. So from a weight perspective as well. So I'll skip this entire chapter, but definitely you can. It is good if it's not part of your daily routine. Make sure that you follow your sugar levels till you make sure your diet is pretty good in content. 10 is stretching. This one definitely I given a good read, because I do running, walking, hiking, but push-ups, planks, but stretching is something which I have never done. Yes, I can still touch my feet, uh, because I'm a slim person. So, but definitely this chapter interested me to do some stretches, like 7 to 8 minutes of stretches per day, and sleep. And 11th one is sleep. Actually, more than this chapter, I would recommend Why We Sleep book. On the show notes, I'm going to mention the link, which I have read 3 years ago. So it made me reflect on my own sleep. So since last 3 years, I follow a certain schedule. 10 o'clock, after 9 o'clock, no internet. After no devices. 10 o'clock, go to bed. By 10, be in bed at least. Do brushing, then be in bed. 6:30, wake up, or my son will wake up. Son will make me make me awake. So I have my son has alarm nowadays since last 1 year. So I don't need alarm for especially to get up nowadays. So I'm especially sleep is the most important thing. Then laughter, the 12th one from the list. Yes, normally if you know me, I'm a pretty jovial person. But from a work perspective, people who know me, this see me as serious. But people who know me in person as my friends, they know how much loose and I am. So and yeah, if you can consume, you can laugh through multiple mediums. Maybe subscribe or follow a good comedian on Instagram. Whenever you can just simply look into the short videos and have a good laugh, or at least go to YouTube, click on comedy. You'll get good videos on stand-up comedians. Right, so you can watch videos or try to be funnier person yourself. Yeah. So these are 12 challenges which the author took. At least out of uh, the the list actually looks very basic, but as suggested by scientists, it has major impact on our bodies when we do this and when we do not. See, 8 out of these 12 have been in my lifestyle more than a decade, so that I can vouch for its impact. And also, if you see, they're part of lifestyle, and few of them doesn't even take few minutes to get them done during our day. Right? So exercising is a must, sleeping is must, right? You are going to do. So these are part of your lifestyle itself. So self-care is not just taking care of your inner or outer self. It impacts our decision-making skills and behavior throughout the day and our interaction with others. So if you see most from this list, it is not our individual care. Its impact can be seen with everyone around us due to us. So the reason why we say uh, take care, why a person should have his own self care, is because he's not just going to impact himself, he is going to impact people around him as well. He's going to impact his own decision making skills. And as we are going to be at home, this book was definitely a quick read for me, and I have reminded myself few of few of things which fallen out of my schedule, like meditation. So and planks is something which I have added to my morning push-ups. So yes, definitely a good list. All right, that's all for this week. So yeah, if you liked my podcast, uh, you can hear the audio version on my website sridhargarbati.substack.com. I'll mention it in show notes. If not, on Apple Podcast, my show name is Minimalist Techie. I'll mention it in the show notes. So if you prefer audio version, you like to hear it, or if you want to read the article, uh, you can go to the article and give a good read. But if you like the audio version, please rate me on Apple Podcast, because it will help other people to find me over there. So do let me know in comments of show notes or through my article. Uh, all right. So thanks everyone for this week. So do like, subscribe, or share, whatever these days the kid says. Uh, so that we can stay connected, share our ideas, and spread happiness in the world.